What if the ocean floor is hiding structures we were never meant to find? Not rocks, not natural formations, but shapes, patterns, and formations that look built. Because beneath the surface of our oceans, far below the reach of sunlight, there are discoveries that raise one chilling question. Are we really the first to build on this planet? Before we go deeper, stay with the journey and subscribe, because what you're about to uncover may completely change how you see our world. Because this isn't just about the ocean. This is about what lies beneath history itself. Let's begin near Japan, where divers discovered something that shouldn't exist, the mysterious Yonaguni Monument. At first glance, it looks like a natural rock formation. But look closer. Sharp edges, flat surfaces, step-like structures descending into the deep, almost like a staircase, carved by design. Now think about that. Perfect angles, straight lines, geometric patterns, all underwater. Now ask yourself, nature or construction? Because some researchers argue it's natural, formed by geological processes over time. But others believe something else. They see structure, intention, design, and if that's true, then this formation could be thousands of years old, built when sea levels were lower, built before it was swallowed by the ocean. Now pause. If a structure like this exists underwater, what else is hidden beneath? Because oceans cover more than 70% of our planet, and we've explored only a small fraction of them. Now imagine how much remains unseen. Now move across the world to the waters near India, where sonar scans revealed something equally strange, the Gulf of Khambhat structures. These formations appear grid-like, organized, almost city-like in layout. Some believe they could be the remains of an ancient settlement, submerged long ago. But here's where it gets even more mysterious. Dating these structures is difficult, controversial, debated, because confirming their origin could change everything. Now think about the pattern. Structures underwater, shapes that don't look random, locations across different parts of the world. Because when multiple discoveries raise the same question, it becomes harder to ignore. And that's where the mystery begins. Because oceans don't just hide creatures, they hide history, which leads to the first big question. Are these structures natural formations, or evidence of something far older than we understand? Because in the next part, we go deeper into underwater discoveries that look even more artificial, structures that resemble roads, walls, and even entire cities. Stay with the story, because what lies beneath the ocean might not belong to the world we know. What if some structures beneath the ocean don't just look unusual, but look engineered, not random, not scattered, but arranged, organized, almost like something built with purpose? Before we go further, stay with the journey and subscribe, because what you're about to see may completely change how you understand what lies beneath our oceans. Because now, the mystery gets deeper. Let's return again to the waters near Japan, where the Yonaguni Monument reveals even more detail. Divers exploring the site reported something unexpected. Not just steps, but what appeared to be platforms, terraces, even pathways. Some sections look like they were cut at precise angles, almost as if tools were used. Now think about that. Angles that repeat, patterns that continue, edges that align. Because nature can create shapes, but repeating geometric patterns? That raises questions. Now move to the Caribbean, near Cuba, where something even more mysterious was detected deep underwater, the so-called Cuban underwater structures. Discovered through sonar imaging, these formations appear as large geometric shapes. Squares, rectangles, arranged in a way that resembles ruins, almost like a submerged city. Now pause. These structures are located at extreme depths, far deeper than most known ancient coastal settlements, which leads to a serious question. If these were once on land, how did they end up so deep underwater? Because sea levels did rise after the last ice age, but not enough to explain extreme depths. And that's where the mystery intensifies. Now consider something even more intriguing. Some of these formations appear too large to be accidental, too organized to be random, too structured to ignore. Because when patterns appear in multiple locations, it suggests something more than coincidence. Now think about the implications. If even one of these structures is proven to be artificial, It would mean that advanced construction existed in places and times we don't fully understand. Now ask yourself, why are these discoveries still debated? Why is there no clear conclusion? Because proving something like this would rewrite history, and rewriting history is not simple. It requires evidence, time, and acceptance. But until then, these structures remain in the shadows, unconfirmed, unexplained, and largely unknown, which leads to a deeper thought. What if the ocean floor is not just hiding isolated structures, but entire systems, cities, networks, connections we haven't discovered yet? Because in the next part, we go even deeper into structures that resemble roads, walls, and organized layouts that look almost impossible to form naturally. Stay with the story, because what lies beneath the ocean is starting to look less like nature and more like design. What if the ocean floor doesn't just hide structures, but entire layouts? Because as exploration continues, something even more unsettling begins to appear. Patterns that look like roads, walls, and organized systems. Before we go further, stay with the journey and subscribe, because what you're about to see may completely change how you understand history beneath the ocean. Because now, this is no longer about isolated formations. This is about structure. Let's return once more to the Yonaguni Monument near Japan. Divers didn't just find steps and platforms. They found what appeared to be long, straight pathways, edges that run parallel, sections that intersect at angles, almost like a planned layout. Now think about that. Paths connecting areas, levels built on top of each other, design that suggests movement, direction, purpose. Because roads don't just exist randomly. They connect, they organize, they guide. Now move toward the Mediterranean, near Greece, where underwater ruins have revealed stone blocks arranged in ways that resemble ancient construction. Some areas look like collapsed walls, others like foundations, pieces scattered, but not random, because even in collapse, structure leaves clues, alignment, spacing, orientation, and when these clues match known building patterns, they raise serious questions. Now consider something even more fascinating. Underwater surveys in multiple locations have revealed straight lines stretching across the seabed, long, continuous, too straight to be easily explained by natural processes. Some resemble ancient causeways, others look like boundary walls, and in some cases, they appear to form grids. Now pause. Grids mean planning. Planning means intention, and intention suggests intelligence. Now think about the pattern forming. Steps, platforms, pathways, walls, layouts, all appearing in different parts of the world. Because when the same types of structures appear in multiple places, it becomes harder to dismiss them as coincidence. Now ask yourself, if these were once on land, what happened to them? Because for structures to be underwater, something must have changed. Sea levels rising, land sinking, or something more sudden. Because history tells us that the end of the last ice age brought massive changes. Melting ice, rising oceans, flooding coastlines. And if ancient settlements existed near those coastlines, they would now be underwater, hidden, preserved, forgotten. Now think about the implications. If even a fraction of these structures are artificial, it suggests that ancient civilizations may have been far more widespread than we realize, more advanced than we assume, and more connected than we understand, which leads to a powerful question. What else is down there? Because in the next part, we go deeper into the methods used to discover these structures and why so much of the ocean floor still remains unexplored. Stay with the story, because what lies beneath the ocean may not just be lost, it may be waiting. What if the biggest mystery isn't what we've found, but how little we've actually seen? Because the truth is, we don't explore the ocean the way you might think. Before we go further, stay with the journey and subscribe, because what you're about to uncover may completely change how you see exploration itself. Because now, we are going behind the scenes, into the technology, the methods, and the limits. Let's begin with something simple. Humans can't easily explore deep oceans. Pressure increases rapidly. Darkness takes over. Conditions become extreme. So instead, we use machines, sonar, submersibles, remote-operated vehicles, tools that map the ocean floor without physically touching it. Now think about that. Most of what we see underwater is not seen directly. It's interpreted from sound waves, from signals, from data, which means what we discover is often just an outline, a shape, a possibility. Now consider how something like the Yonaguni Monument near Japan was studied. Divers explored it directly, photographed it, mapped it, but many other discoveries, especially deep ones, are only seen through sonar, like the mysterious formations near Cuba, the Cuban underwater structures, detected as geometric shapes on screens, interpreted as possible ruins, but never fully explored in person. Now pause. Imagine discovering something that looks like a city, but only through signals, blurry outlines, incomplete data, because deep ocean exploration is slow, expensive, and limited, which means many discoveries remain unconfirmed. Now think about coverage. Oceans cover over 70% of Earth, but only a small percentage of the ocean floor has been mapped in high detail. That means most of it remains unknown, unseen, unexplored. Now consider something even more intriguing. Some discoveries are not widely discussed, not because they are hidden, but because they are uncertain, debated, difficult to prove, and in science, uncertainty slows everything down, because extraordinary claims require strong evidence, and gathering that evidence underwater is incredibly difficult. Now think about the pattern. Limited exploration, incomplete data, unconfirmed structures, because the deeper we go, the less we know, and that creates a unique kind of mystery. Not just what exists, but what we haven't discovered yet, which leads to a powerful realization. The ocean floor is not fully understood, not even close, and that means somewhere, right now, there could be structures, cities, or formations that no one has seen yet, because they are too deep, too remote, or simply not explored, which leads to the final question. What happens when we finally explore it all? Because in the final part, everything connects, and we uncover what these underwater structures could mean for our understanding of history. Stay with the story, because what lies beneath the ocean may be far greater than we imagine. What if the ocean isn't just hiding secrets, but hiding history itself? Because when you connect everything, the shapes, the patterns, the locations, and the limitations of exploration, you begin to see something that is impossible to ignore. This isn't random. This isn't simple. This is incomplete understanding. Before we reveal the final truth, stay with the journey and subscribe, because what you're about to realize may completely change how you see our planet. Because now, everything connects. Near Japan, the Yonaguni Monument shows steps, platforms, and geometric precision. Near India, the Gulf of Khambhat structures suggest grid-like organization. Near Cuba, deep-sea scans reveal shapes that resemble large geometric layouts. The Cuban underwater structures. Different oceans, different depths, different discoveries, but the same pattern, structure, alignment, possibility, and that leads to the final realization. We don't fully understand what lies beneath the ocean, because the ocean is not just water. It is a record of change. Sea levels rising, land disappearing, coastline shifting, and when that happens, everything built near those coastlines can be lost, submerged, preserved. Now think about the timeline. At the end of the last ice age, massive amounts of ice melted. Sea levels rose dramatically. Entire regions that were once land are now underwater. And if ancient humans lived there, their structures would now be hidden beneath the ocean. Now consider something even more powerful. We assume ancient civilizations were limited, simple, localized. But what if that assumption is incomplete? What if there were settlements, networks, or even advanced knowledge that existed in areas we can no longer access easily? Because the ocean doesn't destroy everything. Sometimes it preserves. Now think about what that means. Hidden structures, unexplored regions, incomplete data, because we haven't seen the full picture yet. And until we do, the mystery remains, because these underwater formations may be natural, they may be geological, but they may also be something more. fragments of a past we don't fully understand. And that possibility is what makes this so powerful. So the next time you look at the ocean, remember this. You're not just looking at water. You're looking at something that may be hiding entire chapters of history. If you want more hidden discoveries, ancient mysteries, and unexplained structures, make sure you subscribe and stay with us. Because the deeper you go, the more you realize we've only explored the surface of our own world.